Hi, Derek Morgan here. In this video, we're going to take a look at the Mentor account and Dynamic Forms. So if you come down to Dynamic Forms and click on the link, it'll take you through to the editor. And what you can do is create and edit forms here. So as a mentor, where you may use forms would be if you want to capture specific data or information, additional data or information that's not currently captured within the mentoring account that you're involved in, or you may want to run surveys or get some quick additional detail off mentees. So you can see here what I've got is a demo form and it's showing up responses, and I've got a response there. So what will happen is that if you want to pause this and stop this this form being published, you simply click there and you'll see draft there. Or if you're currently creating a form and it's not complete and you haven't published it, it'll come up as draft. So we'll come back here and click on that to publish it. The other icon next to it is preview form. Okay, so you can preview your form and go through and test and submit that information. Okay, and you can also share your form, so you can copy that link if you want to copy the link and publish that form as a hyperlink either in a mass market email or on a website or in a social media account. Then that's how you can do that. If you want to track responses, then you've got limited ways that you can do that. So you can only do it if there's a specific email that you're sending the form to. Okay, so you just type in the email address, type in the message, and then click send, and then that message would be embedded in a standard email. The recipient's going to get that and be instructed to fill out the form that you've sent them. Okay, you can also track form responses against an individual. So if I wanted to send a form to a particular individual for them to complete, I would click send, and that way you can track responses back against individuals. But if you're sending a response out just via a URL, then we can't track those responses because we can't identify necessarily where that's coming from. Okay, so let's create a new form. So click on create form, give the form a name, so let's call it demo 2, and we click build form. So there's some standard defaults set within some of the short and long answers around character limits. So what I suggest is when you build a form, if you're using short and long answer numbers, etc., that you go into settings and make sure that you set the limits manually. So you can choose to put a header into your form and go and choose an image from there, a logo or whatever, and you can do the same with a footer if you want to include that and choose an image. Now when you bring details up in here, you need to drag and drop into the dotted line. So if we want a short answer here, so you see new short answers has been brought up. We then come over to settings and we go, let's call it new one. Okay, now do you want to make this a required field or not a required field? So is it mandatory? And what's the maximum number of character lengths? So there's some defaults sitting behind here, but if you want to set your own maximums, this is the place for you to do it. Okay, now what you can do is you can come down and add in here a tip. So this would be for example, a description of what you want or why you want something. Okay, so just you would put an explainer in there. Okay, and away we go. So it shows up under the field. So now we've got a new field with a name, a description of what we want and why. And let's go and do the same thing with long answer. So the process is exactly the same. So you can do drop down lists, radio buttons, check boxes. They're all pretty obvious. Okay, date and time pickers, etc. So just go away and have a play with that. You can upload files. You want country details, include emails. You can even have people electronically sign information, include URLs, etc., etc. So yeah, go and have some fun with that. Relatively straightforward. Once you've completed that process, you can preview your form and test it, and you can save and publish the form. Now, if you create a format and you want to clone it, then you can come in and clone the form so you're not starting from scratch. Okay, there's obviously an area for you to review your responses. Okay, so you can see here a demo form that we completed. So this is your details, and it was submitted by an anonymous person because it was completed using an external URL as opposed to being sent via email or as an internal message to a mentee. Okie doke. So tracked emails, any responses from people that you're from forms that you are tracking would show up here, and so you can run some filters around this as well. So hope you found that useful. Thanks.